Hey everybody, I wanted to take some time to talk a little bit about the escalating anxiety, understandably so, that's happening across the Bay and across our country with each new news story of the coronavirus. And I want to talk a little bit about NBCC's response in the midst of all of this. But first, if you are a believer, here's what I want you to hear, because I am 100% confident that this is what God is saying to us through his prophet Isaiah. Do not be afraid, I'm with you. Do not be discouraged. I will help you. I will strengthen you. I will uphold you with my victorious hand. Essentially, what that means is this, that in these difficult days, that the God of creation will be with us, empowering us not just simply to care for ourselves well, but to love and care for others well. Now, as it relates to NBCC and how we're going to respond, for the last couple of months, I've been teaching about expressing our faith in God through prioritizing caring for others. And so we're going to lean into that as we move forward together through this particular season. First of all, we're going to have our worship gatherings this coming weekend. Now, that may not be the case in the weekends to follow because we are monitoring the rapidly changing events on the ground, and we're staying connected to CDC, and we may not be able to have worship gatherings for a few weeks going forward. That's why it's super important that you download our NBCC app and turn on the notifications. Even if you have the app, make sure the notifications are turned on, because that's one of the primary ways that we're going to communicate with you about any changes in worship, et cetera, et cetera. Secondly, as it relates to prioritizing caring for others, if you are sick with any symptoms of the flu or the cold or anything like that, stay home. Stay home, but stay connected with us by watching the messages that we have online, both through our app as well as at our website. Now, let me say a word about why we're worshiping this weekend as I bring this to a close. Because it is an act of faith. Proverbs says that the wisdom comes from God, that knowledge and understanding comes from the mouth of God. Our faith is that God and his son Jesus has the last word. For those of us who are healthy, we're going to show up and make that statement. Now, I'm asking two things of you if you're people of faith. First, we're entering 40 days here at NBCC of prayer and fasting. So I'm going to ask you to do that. Let's pray and fast. You know, Paul says in Philippians 4:6, don't worry about anything. Tell God about everything. Ask him for what you want. Thank him for what he's done. And you will experience God's peace that exceeds all human understanding, and it will stand guard around your heart and mind. Listen, if you study history, you know this to be true. In the 1st and 2nd century AD, major plagues broke out in the Roman Empire. And while people were running, abandoning their friends and family and hiding, Jesus' followers ran towards the trouble. They cared for people, nursed people, and many of them died alongside those people. But the power of their love was so incredible that Christianity overtook the Roman Empire because people wanted to know the source of that love. The 14th century, during the Black Plague, the same miracle of love happened through Jesus' followers. Most recently, when Ebola broke out in Liberia, it was Jesus' followers who led the way, became instruments of healing and help. That's what we're called to do here. That's what I'm asking folk who are connected to NBCC to do. Let's not recoil in fear, guys. Let's be wise, yes, but courageous. Reach out to your elderly neighbors you haven't seen in a while and make sure they're okay. Call your ill friend who may be isolated in a home of anxiety and check on them, see how you can be supportive and helpful. Prepare packages of love to go to those who may be quarantined off from others. Find ways to serve. Why? Because the God that we know in Jesus Christ says, I'm the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And what that means, death may speak, viruses may speak, fear may speak. But for those of us who believe, Jesus, he'll have the last word for your life, my life, and over this world. God bless you.